95% of people don't fail because they are stupid. They fail because they are comfortable. Comfort is silent. It doesn't look dangerous. It feels warm, safe, reasonable. You wake up, scroll your phone, rush to work, complain a little, laugh a little, repeat. Nothing dramatic. Nothing terrible. But nothing extraordinary either. Most people say they want success. They say they want freedom, money, respect, impact. But what they really want is comfort with a little improvement. And that is the trap. Success demands discomfort. It demands waking up when you don't want to. It demands learning when your brain feels tired. It demands risking embarrassment, rejection, and failure. But comfort whispers, tomorrow. And tomorrow becomes next week. Next week becomes next year. The truth? The majority never leave the starting line. Not because they can't run, but because the couch feels safer than the track. They choose short-term relief over long-term reward. They avoid hard conversations. They avoid difficult skills. They avoid responsibility. And slowly, without noticing, average becomes permanent. Comfort builds invisible chains. You don't see them, but you feel them every time you choose easy over necessary. Success begins the moment comfort ends. But most people negotiate with comfort instead of fighting it. That is the first brutal truth. Most people believe they are working hard. They are busy. They are stressed. They are tired. But busy is not productive, and stress is not progress. The illusion of effort is dangerous because it feels like growth. You answer emails. You attend meetings. You watch motivational videos. You talk about ideas. You plan. You think. But you don't execute. Real success is built on focused, uncomfortable execution. It's deep work when no one is watching. It's repetition when results aren't visible yet. It's doing the boring fundamentals again and again until they compound. The 95% mistake activity for achievement. They move, but they don't advance. They spend hours consuming information but never apply it. They start projects but don't finish. They set goals but don't build systems. And when results don't come, they blame luck, economy, timing, or competition. The truth is simple and harsh: effort without strategy is wasted energy. And strategy without action is fantasy. Successful people measure outcomes. They track progress. They refine what works. They eliminate what doesn't. They are obsessed with effectiveness, not appearance. The majority want to look busy. The minority want to become effective. That difference separates average from exceptional. One of the deepest reasons people never succeed is fear. Not fear of failure. Fear of judgment. They are afraid to start a business because someone might laugh. Afraid to post content because someone might criticize. Afraid to speak up because someone might disagree. So they shrink. They choose invisibility over opportunity. They protect their ego instead of building their future. But here's the brutal truth: people are not thinking about you as much as you think. Everyone is too busy worrying about themselves. Still, the fear feels real. And it stops action. Success requires public mistakes. It requires being misunderstood. It requires standing alone before others understand your vision. The 5% accept temporary embarrassment for long-term growth. The 95% avoid embarrassment and accept long-term regret. Rejection is not the enemy. Irrelevance is. The world rewards visibility, courage, and initiative. It does not reward silent potential. If you hide your ambition to stay comfortable in other people's opinions, you are trading your future for approval. And approval never pays dividends. Most people think in weeks. Successful people think in years. The 95% want immediate results. If they don't see change in 30 days, they quit. If the business doesn't explode in 6 months, they move on. If the gym doesn't transform them instantly, they stop. They underestimate time. Success is a compounding game. Skills compound. Relationships compound. Reputation compounds. Investments compound. But only if you stay consistent long enough. The problem is not lack of talent. It is lack of patience. Long-term thinking feels slow. It feels uncertain. You cannot see the finish line clearly. But every major achievement in history was built through sustained effort. The 5% plant trees they may not sit under for years. The 95% dig up the seed every week to check if it's growing. You cannot build mastery with impatience. You cannot build wealth with short-term emotion. If you measure success daily, you will feel discouraged. If you measure it yearly, you will see progress. The difference is perspective. And perspective determines persistence. Motivation is emotional. Discipline is structural. Most people wait to feel inspired. They wait to be in the mood. But moods are unstable. They change with sleep, weather, stress, and distraction. The successful build systems. They schedule work. They remove distractions. They create routines that operate even when motivation disappears. The 95% rely on willpower. The 5% rely on design. If your environment is full of distractions, you will be distracted. If your phone is always in your hand, focus is impossible. If your goals are not written down, they remain wishes. Discipline is not punishment. It is freedom in disguise. It reduces decision fatigue. It removes excuses. It creates momentum. People think discipline is restrictive. In reality, lack of discipline is what traps them. Without discipline, days become random. Random days become random years. Random years create average lives. Structure creates power. Consistency creates trust with yourself. And self-trust is the foundation of success. Blame is comfortable. Responsibility is heavy. When something goes wrong, it is easier to blame the boss, the market, the family, the economy, the government. And sometimes those factors are real. But success begins where excuses end. The 5% ask, what can I control? The 95% ask, who is responsible? Blame removes pressure. Responsibility creates pressure. But pressure creates growth. If you take full ownership of your results, you gain power. If you wait for conditions to improve, you surrender power. Excuses sound intelligent. They sound logical. They even feel justified. But they never produce progress. Ownership forces adaptation. It forces learning. It forces creativity. When you stop blaming and start adjusting, your results change. The world does not reward explanations. It rewards outcomes. And outcomes belong to those who accept responsibility, even when it is uncomfortable. Many people secretly don't believe they deserve success. They doubt their intelligence, their background, their appearance, their resources, their connections. So they self-sabotage. They don't apply for opportunities. They undercharge. They settle. They quit early because failure confirms what they already believe about themselves. Self-belief is not arrogance. It is permission. You must believe you can improve. You must believe you can learn. You must believe you are capable of growth. The 5% see skills as learnable. The 95% see abilities as fixed. If you believe you are limited, you will behave limited. If you believe you can expand, you will seek expansion. Confidence is built through small promises kept. Small wins. Small improvements. But it begins with a decision. I am not defined by my current position. Without belief, effort collapses. With belief, effort multiplies. Success requires inner alignment before outer achievement. Here is the final brutal truth. Success is simple. But it is not easy. Wake up earlier. Focus longer. Learn continuously. Take responsibility. Think long-term. Build discipline. Ignore judgment. Stay consistent. None of these are secrets. Everyone knows them. But knowing is not doing. The gap between information and execution is where 95% disappear. They wait for clarity. They wait for confidence. They wait for the perfect time. The 5% start before they are ready. Success is not reserved for geniuses. It is reserved for the persistent. If you want to escape the 95%, you must become uncomfortable with average. You must act when others hesitate. You must continue when others stop. The brutal truth is not that success is impossible. It's that most people choose not to pay the price. The question is simple. Will you? Rock it.